Kia ora koutou katoa no, mai hara mai ki UFC on Sky, ko Ravinda Hunia aho. This week on the show, it is Chats with Champs, where we take a look back at the UFC champions we've had on this year, who came on here and either continued or predicted greatness right here before us. We are starting with New Zealand's own Israel Adesanya, who had never been more focused before capturing the middleweight title. Look, first of all, how's it going in Miami? It looks beautiful where you are at the moment.
Yep, it is. It is beautiful. Weather's nice. It's hot outside, so the weight cut's just butter. And yeah, the vibe, it's cool to be back in Miami.
It always seems like a really exciting place to be, like really nice and warm and happy.
Very, very. I mean, look at the weather, the people, the beaches, and yeah, it's a vibe. But I'm outside. I'm having a look, but I'm not really, indulging in any of that right now because I'm focused on war right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, let's get into that, into the preparations that's been involved leading up to this fight against Alex. I mean, preparations will be a little bit different this time, coming in as the opponent, the challenger for the title, as opposed to being the champion. How has this been over the last 4 or so months?
Hasn't been any different, to be honest. If I'm being frank with you, it's I'm still me. I'm still Israel Adesanya, so people still know I'm a champion. They still call me champ. And the workload hasn't taken a back seat. It's always been on. So, yeah, hasn't been any different, to be honest.
How has it been since that fight? We were over there in New York. We obviously saw the fight and how it all went down. But in the last 4 months, how has life been? Because I'm guessing that it would be a little bit different without that strap around you anymore.
Nah, the belt's still at my house. So it doesn't really, the belt's still at my house, so it doesn't really faze me. I don't look at it. Actually, is it at Eugene's house? I think it's at Eugene's house. But yeah, it's just like I said, I'm still me. I still put that pressure on myself. I'm still Israel Adesanya, and that name Adesanya holds weight. So people still, put a target on my back and come for me.
I've always wondered about this challenge in your career, because leading up to Alex Pereira, of course, you had cleaned out the middleweight division. You were actually lapping the fighters in that division. And then Alex appeared, which presented a new challenge for you. Did it kind of spark something, or has it sparked something for you in your career?
Yes, it has. Having him come from my past to face me again, it's honestly one of the best storylines in MMA history. And yeah, even beating me the last time, this time it's definitely lit a fire under me like never before. And look, I enjoyed Christmas and New Year's with my family and friends, but anything that wasn't, in line with working towards the goal of this fight, I cut out of my life. Anyone who wasn't in line with the goals of getting to this fight, cut them out of my life. So I've been very focused on this. I haven't looked past this fight. I don't even, people ask me, oh, are you going to fight him? I'm like, I don't know what's next after this. Everything is focused solely on this fight.
How has, a 4-month turnaround from, title fight to title fight, how important was it for you to have this rematch, almost immediately?
It wasn't really that important to have it almost immediately, but I know me, and I know, you look at the fight, I'm dominating the fight until I'm not. So we know we can beat this guy. But yeah, just for what I've done for the division, for what I've done in this game, the respectful thing was to give me an immediate rematch, and I'm glad the UFC obliged.
What changes this time, Izzy, in your preparations for him, if anything at all, after facing him now, knowing what to expect? You've felt him, you've smelt him, you've seen him in there now. So how does it change this time as opposed to the last fight you had against him?
How it changes this time is me with my hand raised at the end of the fight. How we get there, you have to stay tuned, watch this weekend and find out.
After that fight against Alex, I mean, what did you take away from that fight? Because we know that even in defeat, you take away a lot of lessons. So what did you take away, not only as a fighter, but as a man who has been in this game for a little while now?
I took a lot away. From that fight. One of the biggest compliments I got was from my mom when she called me a week later and just telling me how proud she is to be my mother for the way I carried myself after that fight, That was one of the biggest compliments of my life, and she just rambled on the phone for about 3 minutes, showering me with blessings, and that meant the world to me. So, yeah, I took a lot of lessons from that fight, but those are my lessons, and yeah, I'll keep that to myself.
Look, in terms of Alex Pereira after that last fight, what did you learn about him?
I learned that he has a strong spirit, but so do I. He had his moment like I did in the Gaslam fight, and I know who I am. That fight revealed to me who I am, and yeah, I'm going to remind people who I am.
Absolutely. Look, I spoke to Eugene not long after that fight, and he spoke about, you know, when we face Alex again, that it just has to be a flawless performance, that we can't make any mistakes. What are your thoughts on that? Because, you know, it's easily, you know, said rather than done.
I agree 100%. I have to be perfect. I aim for perfection, but this time I'm aiming right at him, and I'm going to be flawless.
And finally, Izzy, what are you wanting to show this weekend? I know that you have shown a lot over your years, not only as a fighter, but as a champion. But what are you wanting to prove, maybe not to anybody else, but to yourself?
My spirit, my fighting spirit. Alex is in for the fight of his life this weekend, and I mean that in every sense of the word when I say the hunter is now the hunted. Be careful what you wish for. He has what everyone else wants, but like I said, the belt. I'm not here for the belt, I'm here for his head.
Adesanya has said he will be fighting again in September on the Sydney card, so watch this space for that. Let's turn our attention now to the heavyweight champion, Jon Jones. Remember when he told us this?
Very rarely in life do we get these opportunities to look danger in the eye, look fear in the eye, and willingly go out there. And this is one of those moments for me. And I'm glad to be a courageous man. I'm glad to have cojones. And yeah, I'll get the job done.
Jon Jones came back to not only defeat Cyril Gane, but to win the heavyweight title as predicted, and there was never any doubt in his mind. It's been so long, 3 years, since you've been in the octagon competing at this level. First of all, how does it feel to be in amongst it again, you know, dealing with the media and this side of things at the moment?
I'm honored. I'm grateful. I think I have one of the coolest jobs in the world. I get to beat up people and not get in trouble. And it's a lot of fun. I know the media comes with it. Ultimately, you guys are here to help us sell and let the world know about the big event. And so I'm just grateful for your time. Thanks for having me on the show.
No worries at all. Look, there was a comment that you made that caught my attention. It was that you said you were coming back to be great. And a lot of people would argue that you kind of already did that, you know, with the things that you've been able to achieve in your time as a UFC athlete. So I was just wondering what you meant by that and perhaps what's missing for you.
You know, I feel like some people, there's still a debate. You know, you got great athletes. You got George St. Pierre. You got Khabib Nurmagomedov. You got Volkanovski. You got the list goes on and on. Anderson Silva. And I just want to put a cherry on the top of work, on the body of work that I've already done. And I just feel like I have more to prove. I'm young enough to get back out there, and I got more in me. So hopefully by the time I'm done, there won't be much of a debate. That's what I'm fighting for.
So my next question for you, Jon, was being out of the octagon for 3 years, what have you been doing?
Man, I've just been taking care of my family. I have been doing a lot of community work. I've been working in my community. I started a foundation called the Care Project, where we got to get out there and do different projects in our community, trying to help others. I have been working on Jonathan Jones outside of John Jones, you know, just focusing on getting good sleep and my happiness and I feel great. It was good to take a little time away from the sport. I'm glad I did. I'm even more appreciative being back.
Yeah. People seem to forget that, you know, UFC fighters are humans outside of the octagon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know we come across as savages, but I do have a heart.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
And talk to us about the transition, Jon, because you, of course, were competing at light heavyweight. You were a champion, you know, a reigning champion, and there for a long time. You're coming back to the UFC as a heavyweight. So talk about the adjustments that you've had to make.
Oh, my goodness. There's a lot of rice. Eat a lot of rice. A lot of hamburger meat, a lot of steak, a lot of fish, a lot of chicken. 3 protein shakes a day, more sleep, weightlifting 4 days a week, a lot of hydration, a lot of water. It was a real job. It was a real job. I could have just spammed my face with whatever I wanted, but I tried to do it the right way, and that's why it took me so long. But I'm here. I feel better than ever. I feel better. I think better, quicker. I just feel really good. I don't think I was meant to be a skinny guy my whole life. I'm a lot thicker now. I got a big old booty on me. I feel sexier. I feel great.
So over those 3 years that you've been away, obviously the UFC as an organization has grown exponentially, and so too has the sport of MMA. So have you had to make any adjustments to come to that party?
You know, the promotion just feels bigger. The production team is like double. Everything happens quicker. You feel like everything's at a more quick pace. It's a different feeling. This is a completely different machine than what I left. But my job is to adjust and to enjoy the process, and that's what I'm doing.
Nice one. And another thing I wanted to ask you was that, the media can be pretty brutal, and it's, no secret that there has been a slight bit of controversy that surrounded you in your career, a few years back. But how has that been, that aspect of keeping your mind clear and on your goal for UFC 285?
Yeah, I feel like in life, we're all going to have our ups and downs. And I'm really grateful to represent what being a human is. Mm. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. I feel like my ups and downs, this ultimately makes me more relatable and represent resilience, not giving up. You owe it to yourself to get up in the morning and give every day your best effort and try to do things a little bit better than you did yesterday. And that's what I'm here doing. I'm here living as a human being, an imperfect human. With big plans for his future. I know
I know that you knew you were always going to come back to the UFC. Did you anticipate coming back after 3 years and fighting for a title off the bat?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to fight for the title immediately. I feel like I deserve to fight for the title immediately. I have a huge body of work. I put on very exciting fights for the fans, and I don't think the fans would want to see me fighting against a B-level, C-level fighter. They want to see me against the dangerous guys. They want to see me risk losing. And I think that's why this is such a big fight, because Cyril Gane is a very special athlete, and he has the whole world's attention right now, and I'm excited to be a part of it. High pressure moment. Yeah. So that's the land that I live in.
That's such a good point that you bring up, and that was the next part I was going to talk to you about, was Cyril and what you make of him as a fighter and what he's doing. He's quite a force in the heavyweight division at the moment.
Yeah, he's an extraordinary athlete. Yeah, I mean, 6'5", guy got an awesome physique. He moves very well, very athletic. There hasn't been many heavyweights like him in the history of our sport. And what better way to challenge yourself? They're very rarely in life do we get these opportunities to look danger in the eye, look fear in the eye, and willingly go out there. And this is one of those moments for me. And I'm glad to be a courageous man. I'm glad to have cojones. And yeah, I'll get the job done.
In terms of his preparation, do you kind of think that it would be a mistake for him to study your tape so much from so long ago, considering the fighter that you are now?
Yeah, I do believe that I'm a much different fighter today than I've ever been. I believe that I have a knockout power in my hands that I didn't have before. My wrestling is more dynamic, more explosive than it used to be. My jiu-jitsu is more refined. And I don't think studying my footage helps out too much. I have a lot of versatility. At the time, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go out there. So yeah, I feel good. You're expecting the John Jones I fought Dominic Reyes. He's going to be greatly mistaken. I
kind of get the feeling like this is it is a debut in the heavyweight division, but the the big word that's coming out about this fight, describing it as your comeback, is the return. And it took me back to, you know, UFC 87, 2008, when you made your debut, and there was, you know, a list of, you know, legends now on that card. Do you think back to that debut in the UFC and how this kind of stacks up with that?
My UFC debut and this situation just completely different, you know, and there's a lot of fans who are unfamiliar with my body of work, who's never seen me compete before. But for me personally, this feels nothing like my debut. I have a wealth of experience in this game with the media, with the fans, and the octagon, and I feel right at home. I do. I'm nervous to be back. Obviously, it's been 3 years, but I do feel right at home. I get more and more comfortable with every interview I do. I feel like every round that happens in the cage, I'm going to get more and more comfortable. And it's the life I chose.
Awesome. Now, finally, John, if there was one thing that you wanted to show the fans and the world this weekend at UFC 285, what is it?
I want to show the world that hard work pays off. And I want to let the world know to just have faith and stick to your goals, stick to your plans, no matter how ugly things get, no matter how long it may take. Keep one foot stepping in front of the other. Believe in you, and the world can be your oyster for those who don't give up.
Featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski is one of our most frequent guests on the show, and he has that Aussie humour that we've come to know and love. Here is our last kōrero we had with him when he was visiting in Auckland. First of all, state your business. What are you doing here in New Zealand at the moment?
Just here, you know, it's always good to catch up with everyone at City Kickboxing, and obviously Izzy having the big one next week, so I just want to be here for the last week of training. Unfortunately, I can't make it over there to Miami, so I wanted to make sure I was at least here for that last week of training. Just see everyone.
Nice one.
Over indoor cooking with Volk as well, so you know, just keep myself busy.
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into your cooking with Volk stuff. I don't think we've actually had a conversation about it before, but you're getting some big names on this show now. Steve-O, Hasbulla, Izzy's been on there as well. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. Everyone enjoys it. It's always good, and you always get a good feed. So right now, I'm at Bangkok here on Kingsland in Auckland. Just did one then. Just did some Thai dishes. They had me on the wok, giving it a crack. I'm actually better than I thought. So that was cool. So that's good, man. Learn some new skills in the kitchen, and you know, eat some great food, and obviously meet some great people.
Nice one. Look, I wanted to make mention of that hot sauce on your episode with Steve-O. How was that? It looked horrible.
It was. So, well, I don't know if you've seen it, but we ended up putting an espresso shot in there. So there was espresso coffee shot. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear that.
Your mate's outside.
That's not for me. That's not for me, I promise. They're not looking for me. But yeah, so there was, so we actually put an espresso shot in there, and because this like, he's got one that's sort of hot, and then he's got one that's like ridiculously hot. Yeah. And he ended up, you would have seen how much he put in there. And then we put that in the espresso shot, and it was crazy. It wasn't too bad in the mouth, to be honest. It was still hot, but I mean, the throat and my stomach, I started getting stomach pains and all that. And as you've seen, sorry for the information, but it all come back up.
Well, not surprised at all, but it looks like heaps of fun. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about that because, you know, you've come through, you know, these last few years in your UFC career and things like that, but we are in this age now of creating content, and this seems to be a bit of your wheelhouse at the moment. Did you ever think that your career would come to this, that you'll be making shows and especially about cooking?
Yeah, you're right. Probably not. But I mean, I guess it's just all gradually started happening. I just always loved cooking. I'd always cook for everyone whenever we're in camp or whatever it is. And then it started off, I'll just do some stories. Then we're like, oh yeah, I might do a couple of posts. And then next minute you're doing YouTube videos. Next minute you're traveling the world doing them with crazy people. So it was crazy, like the process. But yeah, there's no way I thought that I'll ever be doing cooking shows around the world, that's for sure.
Look, let's talk about training. And you've mentioned you've come to, you know, Tautoko to support Israel in his last week before flying out to Miami for UFC 287. So how is he looking, and what did you want to bring to the fold for him?
Oh, I mean, like, he's always looking good, so that's no surprise. I didn't come here to see how well he's looking. I just come in to support. I know he's always looking good. I know he doesn't need me here, but it's just good to be here. Obviously, for me as well, feel his presence. Yeah, whether he feels my presence or not, I just want to be here in support. We usually vibe off of each other, and we usually give each other some good energy, and we love being around each other. So hopefully that helps. But if not, I'm here to support him, and I can't wait for him to go do work.
And you know all about rematches. You've had a few of them yourself. But what is that vibe like in CKB at the moment? Because this fight has a little bit of a different feel to it, obviously, going back for the title.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, that's it, right? Like, we've had rematches before. Some people don't do well with them, but, I mean, we're obviously a type of team where, we're fighters that can adapt, especially after, we know we face this guy, we've proved ourselves that we can come up with game plans. You know what I mean? Like, we can adapt to puzzles that are in front of us. And then a puzzle that we've already seen, and then having a second crack at it, you know what I mean? It's usually ends well for us, I believe. So I think, I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. Again, it's a massive card, top to bottom, the prelims. I remember just as we were talking about doing the YouTube, and I was doing the breakdown of it, and I just looked through the whole card from top to bottom. I'm just like, man, I'm excited. So I cannot wait to watch that. But great card, great main event, and can't wait for Izzy to get that belt back.
How do you see that fight going down, Alex? Obviously, that last fight, for all money, Izzy was winning that fight up until those final moments where Alex Pereira just put his foot down in the end. But how do you feel this fight is going to go?
I think it finishes early. I think Izzy actually finishes him I'm thinking third round. I don't know why I'm saying third round, but that's been my pick, my round. I honestly think he's going to finish. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, I think obviously he's got something to prove, with the right game plans and things like that. I think it's going to really go well for him and go very well for him, and hopefully a nice highlight reel for Izzy. He's done many of those, and one more to the highlight reel. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And as I always say, I always respect your predictions. So I'll be copying yours after this chat. Talking of rematches, Volk, first of all, commiserations for the result against Islam Makhachev. Even though, despite the decision, it was a blimmin' great fight, exciting to watch. And, no one has ever pushed him that hard before. But what are your thoughts on a rematch there? Or are you traveling down that road of, the next fight against Yair Rodrigues?
Look, we've made it pretty clear. I want to be active. Everyone knows that, and I don't think he won't want to fight till like the end of the year. So I ain't waiting around. I'll go do this featherweight scrap, and then whenever he's ready to get back, I'll be more than ready for that. So I wasn't lying when I said I wanted to be active. So that's what I'm going to do. Go there and settle this featherweight title thing. I'm obviously still champ, but he's got that interim champ, so let's just solidify that. And again, I'm glad that happened, because it just makes the fight even bigger. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, another one in there, and then later in the year we'll maybe do that rematch. And like you said, it was a great fight. Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone was buzzing from it. We thought we did enough, but it was a close fight. What can you do? But we'll get it next time.
Absolutely. And look, the other, eyes are also on that Arnold Allen, Max Holloway fight as well. I know you've fought Max plenty of times, but Arnold Allen, he's ranked number 4. What are your thoughts on a potential fight there in future?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of really good fighters in the featherweight division, and a lot of them coming through. So Arnold Allen is one of them, very well-rounded. I think he's going to be a tough fight for Max, but obviously Max has proved himself time and time again. So it's never an easy way to the title when you've got to face Max first. But if he goes out there and does that, everyone's screaming his name. Everyone wants that next. So that gives me a clear guy. So I think Arnold's doing the right thing. He obviously believes in himself and taking on this challenge because he knows where it gets him with a victory. So good on him for that. I obviously respect that and appreciate that, and I look forward to see the result.
When are you wanting to get back into the octagon, Alex?
I think July 8th, International Fight Week sounds good. So let's see if we can lock that in.
I know you're a big fan of International Fight Week. You say that every year.
Yeah, well, I've been on most of them. I think I've done the last few years. So why not keep it going?
Nice one. Look, before I let you go, Alex, what are your plans while you're in Auckland? How long are you here for, and what are you up to?
Well, everyone heads off soon, so I'll be gone shortly, unfortunately. So yeah, so I'll be I'm actually leaving today. So it was a good week here. Enjoyed it, but yeah, time to head back home to the family, get training in myself, and that's always another good like I really enjoy coming over here. It's not fight week, but the last week of camp. Hard training, the vibes and energy that you get, and it just gets me excited to get into my own camp. So hopefully I'm in camp soon.
UFC Featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski will be facing the interim champion Yair Rodrigues at UFC 290 at International Fight Week in Las Vegas. Also featuring on that main card will be Kiwi Dan Hooker. He's up against Jalen Turner, so do not miss that card. You can book now on Sky Arena or Sky Sport Now. That card will be coming to you live and direct from Las Vegas on July the 9th. Hei kōna mai.
Skill for skill, many have believed him to be the best in the world for some time. The featherweight world beater Alexander Volkanovski.
He's one of the most impressive champions in the history of the sport.
There is levels to this game, and he's the highest.
Round after round, blow after blow.
Bring it!
I'm the top dog, you already know.
But now it's my turn. I'm willing to give it all to become the champion.
I got the fight of a dog in me.
There are few brands of violence as compelling as Yair Rodrigues.
Ain't no holding it back, I strike clear.
He wants to prove that he deserves that belt.
Oh, he's tapped!
That's it.
Yair Rodrigues! Wow! The interim UFC featherweight champion.
Yair Rodrigues is a real threat.
But I'm the best, no matter who's in front of me.
Alexander, the great Volkanovski, ladies and gentlemen.
He is as skilled in all phases as any fighter in the game. The consensus best featherweight of all time.
I'm on another level right now. I can't be stopped.
Yair Rodrigues!
Yair Rodrigues is a video game.
We have not seen anything like him. He's one of one.
The speed and the technique. Yair Rodrigues is special.
You're Mexico! The top dog.
No doubt the people of Mexico going crazy right now.
Brandon Moreno!
Look at the passion this guy has for fighting.
The first Mexican-born UFC champion.
He's so tough, and he's just got that warrior's mentality.
Let's go! Alexandre Pantoja!
He has a history of victory against Brandon Moreno.
And he is a guy that can put anyone out. That gun to finish Brandon Moreno. The next legend!
This is it. This is as good as it gets in the sport.
Robert Whittaker!
He wants to cement his legacy and become the champion again.
I'm gonna go to war.
Dricus du Plessis! He's off to a perfect start in the UFC.
I'm in there to be the first South African UFC champion.
2 undisputed UFC titles on the line.
This is International Fight Week, and this card